recently there's been a lot of like weird discussion and censorship between West and Japan. Have y'all seen there's a lot of anime nowadays that are actually taking some like a Western influence, which has turned really bad. Now I have like a video where Japan is being forced to censor anime and manga. Ooh, we don't like that. Don't want to censor the anime, man.
Japan is being forced to censor manga and
Oh
anime?
my god.
It's time for the latest news.
Hold up a moment. How can we censor
Forced
this?
to censor manga and anime? It's time for the latest news. Out of Japan.
Whoever is saying this needs to be crucified. This cannot be real.
If you were to ask a dedicated fan of anime and manga, what is a word worse than death? They'd give you a quick and simple answer. Censorship.
That's right. That's worse than death. Exactly.
Adult content is a huge part of Japanese entertainment culture, especially when it comes down to drawn or animated media like anime and manga. Whether it comes in the form of extreme violence, mild and comedic displays of nudity, or full-blown R-rated scenery, adult content is something that's naturally ingrained into Japanese media. But unfortunately, not every country which anime and manga are distributed to supports these spicy additions. And as such, there have been several cases where anime and manga have been censored to suit the ideologies of several countries.
I think that the problem what everybody's facing as well is that they're not realizing that Japan is a completely different culture, and what they feel like depict as adult content and adult imagery is completely different to what the West is viewing it. Like there's a big distinction between those two. And generally also a lot of people go to Japanese media because they're tired of Western bullshit. Like they find it boring. They like most Western series and movie now are following a checklist. In Japan, they have their own checklist. They have their own things that they wish to follow, their own traditions, their own views. And I think a lot of people are enjoying it because it's different. It's not the same. And once you start putting Western influence to it and try to transform it more Western, it's going to lose that magical touch of interest that most Western people like enjoy about it. It's odd. I don't know. Like I see no benefit at all. I can understand localizations. I can understand doing like minor localizations where there are things that needs to be kind of readjusted so it's more understanding for the viewers in a different country. But censorship, that doesn't really make sense unless it's like a country where this thing is actually legal. Like this thing will turn into an 18 plus. I can understand that then. For example, the best example I can have is that blood is not allowed to be shown in China because it goes against their beliefs. So in China, you're not. So if you show a media, you have to change the blood from red to like to something to either blue or white. White is the weirdest one. I've seen some scenes with that doesn't really look that great. It's weird. Skulls too. Yeah, you're not allowed to show dead people at all. You can't show like skulls or bones. It's not allowed. White blood, classic. Yeah, I know.
For example, the Mitsuri bat scene in Demon Slayer where her bare back and chests were shown was censored in the Chinese version.
Yeah, but China is a little bit different. In China, yeah, this is another censorship in China. Like, I think it's fine because like the thing is that China, you're not allowed actually to do this. You're not allowed to show this. Do you know why gacha games, Chinese gacha games, are nailing sexualized characters so hard? It's because they're not allowed to show anything. They are the biggest like softcore anime and softcore porn animators out there because they are not. They need to bend. They need to bend the rules to actually hit the market they wish to target. Because they're not allowed to actually show any sexual themes, like or no sexual acts or nudity involved. So they have to really bend sexual themes to their advantage.
As she was seen wearing a towel in that scene. Fans.
That's why in Love and Deep Space, for example, you're not actually seeing any sex. You see the guy like in the animations, they're you kind of know what's going on, but it's not really going on. You're not seeing it, but your mind knows exactly you're fucking right now. You know what I mean? You know exactly what is going on. You as that girl, and Silas is holding your leg up and like licking your toes. You know exactly what he's doing. That like you know what the fuck is going on. But they're not allowed to show it. Yeah, you see, huh? Listen, this game is making like 50 to 80 million a month. I don't give a shit about hot or no. They are making money, and as long as they're making money, they're happy, okay? I don't give a shit.
Didn't pay much mind to it, and instead found some of these...
What do you mean? It's just sweaty exercise. Yeah, he was just checking if her blood flow was going well, so he had to like lick her thighs and thrust her hips that you don't really see, but you know it's happening.
This is funny, such as when the Malaysian version of Attack on Titan had the Titans, which were normally bare-skinned, wearing tight pants. Little did they know that things would eventually blow up in an aggravating way. During the final days of October, the United Nations pitched the idea of censoring or even banning anime and manga based on the idea that these forms of media were promoting gender stereotypes and violence towards women and children. Many fans voiced their discomfort with that development, claiming it was wrong on so many different levels. But
I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a lot of political wrongs that are probably emphasizing this idea more than fucking anime and manga. You are not doing anyone any good by censoring anime and manga.
Things still took a turn for the worse, because recently it was discovered that Western credit card companies such as Visa and MasterCard are now dissociating themselves from anime and manga sites in an attempt to force them to censor their content. Ken Akamatsu, the creator of Love Hina, was unfortunately a victim of this, as his manga site Manga Z was forced to shut down due to these credit card companies pulling away. In his official statement on Twitter, he said, "The website Manga Library Z, formerly known as J-Komi, which I founded 14 years ago, had decided to cease operations on November 26th. Although I have already stepped down from management, I'm writing this announcement on behalf of the team. About Manga Library Z. Manga Library Z is an ad-supported platform that provides out-of-print manga as free digital content, generating ad revenue to compensate creators. Server and operational costs were mainly covered by fees from premium members. Reasons for the shutdown. The immediate cause of the suspension is that our payment processor has notified us that they are terminating all payment services beyond credit card payments, which includes other methods. Suddenly, all credit card providers, including JCB, became unusable, and other payment options, except for BidCash, were also rendered non-functional. On top of that, even payments for past months were withheld, so we were unable to cover server costs due to the lack of incoming premium member fees. After
I mean, they own the company, but I feel like the monopoly of this payment method is kind of causing too many issues, trying to force in changes on their own beliefs. I don't understand why they wish to do that even. Like, I don't understand how people don't get that whenever you're taking one core of a primal resource, why people are interested in the content they're consuming. Why do you wish to remove it? Why do you wish to degrade the content you're looking at? What is that? What do you feel like this is doing worse for your advertisements or you? Like, what do you mean? You can pay. Can't you use your credit? Can't you use MasterCard and Visa when you buy for porn subscriptions? Like, I've never bought porn subscriptions, so I don't know. But how the fuck do you buy a porn sub on like those porn website or OnlyFans? How do you buy an OnlyFans sub? How do you buy anything like Fansly and all of these things? Why do they view manga and anime and sexual theme within it so negatively? This is very odd. I think it should kind of, I don't know, like it's a hard topic to go on with, but like in some way I feel like this should be kind of illegal. Like, I don't know, like this is weird.
Careful consideration, the Manga Library Z team determined that running the site solely on BitCash revenue was unsustainable, even if a new
people buy corn subscription. Yeah, clearly they do, because some OnlyFans creators are making millions every month, so there's a lot of people buying it. There's a lot of them.
Payment processor was found, similar issues could arise again, and selectively removing content to stay operational was undesirable. Thus, we reached the decision to suspend the site. We apologize for the suddenness of the situation and for yielding to the control of the payment provider, which left us with little time to respond. However, through this experience, we have gained insights on the grounds for declaring payment service suspensions, the severity and duration of associated penalties, and potential countermeasures. In the past, for example, Love Hina was banned and later reinstated in Apple's ebook app, a situation that became a valuable case in protecting freedom of expression. We continue to refer to these kinds of special cases in discussions about protecting free expression. Recently, stricter conditions and penalties have emerged from payment service providers, posing a growing threat to not only ebooks but to the Japanese content industry as a whole. We intend to develop more accurate countermeasures as a platform that has been directly affected. We appreciate your support in this endeavor. So, there's a lot to unpack in this message, but the main point is that his manga site is being forced to shut down based on their inability to make money. And the cause of that is, of course, the fact that the Western credit card companies they were aligned with chose to step away from them. This is a very terrible situation, and anime fans are absolutely furious about this incident. A fan said, "Bad take from US-based card companies. Trying to force an entire country to censor a major part of their cultural identity will just force Japan to seek a possible home-sourced card company."
That is exactly what will happen. How is it in any logical way fine to do this? It's a part of their like cultural identity when it comes to media. How do you think this will proceed? I mean, there's crypto is kind of like dying in every way, sort of. It's like it's ups and downs. I don't think people will say to themselves, "Oh well, that this will boom crypto even more." I think that what it will happen is just that there will be new competitors in the market, and Japan will just secure that their cultural identity will be will stay along, like, because they can't really, if a credit card company like this is trying to neglect their production of this type of norms, then why would Japan as a whole support it? Like, how would actually Visa and MasterCard even survive, or think they would definitely survive, but how would they respond if Japan just totally blocked all payment method using it? How would a tourist visit Japan? Like, it would be really bad.
Which will lead to other non-Japanese sites to utilize
what culture identity will Japan even exist in 50 years? Who knows? I think Japan will be fine in 50 years, but they gotta start making some more families over there. That's for sure.
As well to avoid censorship. What's worse is that the censorship they're trying to influence into effect isn't the normal one we're familiar with, where only the versions of anime and manga for specific countries are altered. What these people want is for these products to be censored right at the source, meaning even the original versions of anime and manga being distributed in Japan would be heavily censored. This is a huge slap in the face, not only to the whole freedom of expression privilege for creators, but also Japanese culture in general.
Nothing will happen. They'll just accept and fall, just like the other companies did in different versions that were game of the Western Middle East. I don't think there's any problem with the trying to change the medium in some way to be more comforting, or you be better consumed in specific countries, or following rules that specific countries have set. The problem is whenever when Visa and MasterCard is completely blocking payments from a website that is worldwide, registered in Japan, because they are serving Japanese culture norms in their medium. It's weird.
Card companies have done this before with platforms like Pixiv and DL Site, removing themselves from those sites until certain content which they deem is inappropriate is removed. Some fans are even trying to make light of the situation by claiming that the world is now similar to Shimoneta, an anime world where all forms of adult things were banned.
I think that in some way we've had a really big push on blocking adult forms of content. But I think it's coming back in a way. I think it's sort of coming back in some ways.
Credit card companies actually hold a lot of power because they monopolize the use of online and card-based transactions.
And it's really scary to think that way, because like the biggest bank controls nearly the world. Like how most payments go through these companies.
So basically, if you wish to make a payment to any sites, including anime and manga sites, it most often has to go through them, which is why a situation like this, where they pull away from a company, would mean that the company has no way of making any money. And thus, the company is forced to shut down, all based on an unfair imposition of Western ideologies on Japanese media. Some fans are going as far as saying that Japan should stop distributing anime and manga to the West entirely, since
You can say that, but they won't because there's money in it. Now, they don't give a fuck really about what Western think most of the time. They just want some money, easy buck. Like, this is the view of the people that are actually investing into anime. They care about Japanese opinions and they use West as an opportunity to harvest more money. It's like a secondary way of making more money. They don't really give a shit that much about Western opinions often. Like, there's probably some, but they don't really do care that much. They don't mind changing their source material so that they will be more broad, as it would have a broader reach in the Western eyes. They don't care about that. They just want to make more money. Because in the end of the day, the higher up in the anime industry are just a bunch of investors.
they're the ones always pushing for censorship. Japan needs to give a big middle finger to the West and completely disconnect from it. These were the words of a fan who was rightfully annoyed by the situation.
I don't think that will ever happen unless they again, unless like Visa just complete, like unless MasterCard and Visa completely blocks their payment, or it would be an issue of the factor that they just can't do any business with them. That's the only time they will try to make something of their own. But if they can keep on doing business with them by just doing some changes, I think they will actually do those changes. I think they will censor it for the West, because in the end of the day, all they want is a big fat buck.
Some are calling
Does it
out
suck? It sucks.
influential figures like Elon Musk to do something about the situation,
Elon Musk.
given the fact that he openly admitted to being a huge fan of anime and gaming. Fans think that Musk will eventually start his own card companies and payment platforms that would eventually crush the ones currently monopolizing the business. Some others feel that crypto should become the premier means of payments,
Never happening.
putting the current card companies out of business, and they believe the outcome of the recently concluded US elections could make that dream a reality. Interestingly, apparently,
Also, I do want to say like a weird thing. Like, I understand it when it comes to most of like all of these people that are presenting these tweets. I bet majority of them don't really purchase any of these products. I think most people in the West are pirating majority of like mangas and animes out there. They're not really purchasing the disc. They're not really purchasing the hardcovers at all. They're just yoinking it. Yeah, they're yoinking it. Now, I can understand that it kind of sucks whenever you want to have a hardcover. Like, let's say a lot of people love to have hardcover of Berserk because they love it, like love Berserk, and they feel like they just want to have the hardcover. They want to have the books there, right? The mangas there, and I can get that. And once you buy like a translated one, and it's going to be changed to complete from the different like source material that you were used to, I can understand how that is really frustrating and annoying. But I just don't think this is as big of a deal that people are putting it out to be, because most of these anime pirate sites and anime manga sites are usually taken from Japan, like directly from Japan, and then they're translated by freelancers. They're not really gone through the system.
Brazil used a system called PIX that bypasses cards and bank limitations. If more countries copied this method, those payment processing holders would have zero power across the globe and would be forced to compete with quality of service instead. Well, these proposed solutions do seem appealing, but it would take a lot of different things to come into place for them to actually work out. Taking notice of this, fans have decided to focus on looking for ways to fight back and punish the card companies directly. Many have suggested starting a war with America or even orchestrating a cyber attack against these card companies. This is why I want the entire Western entertainment industry gone, wiped clean from the world. Were the words of a fan who needs to be convinced that the Western entertainment industry is no sandcastle that could easily be kicked down. This is maybe a little extreme. Many believe that the best course of action would be to avoid buying from them.
People spew a lot of dumb shit on the internet. It's just yap, man. They're just mad and then typing.
Entirely. And so many fans have resolved to only using pirate sites for consuming anime and manga.
I will be pirating my content. I could bet $100 that this individual here has always been pirating content.
instead of paying through these companies. Depending on how things play out, this incident could cause a ripple that would affect Japanese culture and how anime is created. For now, we can only hope things go in favor of Japan and the rest of the anime manga fandom. In other news, Vinland's Saga is ending soon?
Damn. That's crazy. No, I think that's an issue. I think that the problem is, again, the problem is just monopoly in itself. And I think if you're trying to remove something that is so, like, is one of the biggest advertisements of a medium is completely downplaying it. It's just, why would you do that? It's just a stupid idea. I hope that, I don't know who is thinking about doing these changes or why they're thinking about that or why they wish to do, like, why they're proceeding with all of this. But hopefully we'll find out why soon, or hopefully they will stop. I don't know. There's no good for it. A good pirate never steals. Yeah, a good pirate only borrows and puts it back in. They just need it for the time being and then they move on. Yep. What a good pirate. But yeah, if you like this video, make sure to click the like button, sub to the channel if you want to watch more. And if you're on the app with us live, feel free to come by my Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Adley. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.